Ladies and gents, welcome back. I've invested a hell of a lot of money, and I've got a motion picture version of a northern man in Mr. Pablo. No, I'm only joking. He's actually here. I hope you guys are all doing well. We are back. My beloved duo is here as well, Pabs. And you like casting Vitalize at the start of new CODs because we did this last year.
Yeah, we followed Vega for like 10 games, I think, last year. So yeah, we got. It's not the start of a new COD. Vitalize aren't the first team that we're casting, and this is. I apologize. This eyes aren't deceiving. I am still officially in retirement. But you know, when the PAB signal goes out and Major gives the call, I just who turns Major down? Does anyone turn him down? It can't be done. So it just you know, you're gonna get these quieter Friday and Saturdays that are just like got to get the cast on, man. Let's get the cast on.
Yeah, 100%, mate, 100%. And so we're here. We're obviously we're not with ACCL anymore. We've got a few leagues floating about. One of which is XP League, which do actually, to be fair to them, they have a really big following. They got a lot of teams involved this season. But the two teams that we're focusing on this evening, we will show you guys, is Vitalize Academy and Divinity Empire. We've obviously got a couple of names on Divinity Empire, which we recognise quite a bit, don't we, Pabs? Eliza, Liam, LP, and Scrapper as well. So a team and a group of players that we're used to seeing. Is good to see some familiar faces in and amongst everything.
Right, honestly, it's just great to see. We know we have this conversation all the time, whether it's in COD or Val or wherever we're casting. But you know, picking up a few new names is always good. But again, just to have that mix of players that we've dealt with before, and obviously we've seen Alpi in action tons of times. I've done motion graphics with Alpi included. This is how often we've managed to go over them. And obviously, lied to you. It was helping out with everyone's PCs last during Vanguard, so we know these guys quite well. I'm saying nothing else, Lidesy. I'm going to keep it civil. And Scrapper, I think we cast quite a bit towards the end in some of the ACCL games. So, yeah, but I'm just, you know what? I'm really looking forward to seeing this Vitalize squad because, Major, one thing we know about Vitalize is they don't pick up bad players. They always look for high quality, good quality talent. We saw it last year with Vega and co when they first came out and they were absolutely running through everyone. But this Vitalize team, I'm so excited to see what they can bring.
Yeah, no, I don't like to put pressure on players, but I've done a little bit of sniffing around for this Vitalize Academy roster, and I know at the start of the game, Higgy, I believe, was on a team with Maestro, and I've heard a lot of good things about this team. So I'll just sit back and we'll see what they've got. But like you mentioned, Vitalize don't pick up sloppy rosters. We know what Charlie's like when it comes to spotting talent. Similarly to Kieran, he's very good at identifying up-and-coming rosters, up-and-coming players. So I'm very excited to see this Vitalize Academy roster because what I've heard, they're probably going to be very good. Don't quote me on it, but I do think they finished either top 24 or top 12 in the 2K. If it's top 12, which I think it was, I might have to double check in a minute, but yeah, that's no pushover by any means. And this
let's hope Lidesy, Scrappy, and Alpi have been killing bots all day long, because that's going to be a tricky encounter if that's the case. And you know that's good quality Call of Duty right there, T12. And this game is unforgiving. Let's be perfectly honest. This game is unforgiving. If you don't hit your shots in this game, you are gone. No more second chances.
No, 100%. And we've got our map pool. Obviously, we won't try and pull the wool over people's eyes, Pabs. We are still new to this game, especially in terms of casting, let's be honest. The concepts are the same, but the maps very much different. Obviously, they're helping us out a little bit here in that we'll get a little bit of progression because we have the same map 3 times. So we'll get used to the scenery and the surrounding areas on those 3. We've got a triple Greenberg Hotel. We've then got Albagra Fortress for Hardpoint map 4 and a Search and Destroy on map 5. And one thing, Pabs, that we saw in Vanguard all the time was map 1 never really meant much when it came to map 2. On this game, I think it's a little bit different. But saying that, a lot of the CDL games, a lot of the Challengers games, loads of them have been going game 5. I don't know if it's something to do specifically with this game and the time to kill and how the maps are, but there's a lot of game 5s that we're seeing at the moment, so it wouldn't surprise me if we get one here potentially.
Seen, for the amount of COD that I've been able to watch, it's been a broad amount of COD. We haven't got to watch a lot of low level, but obviously a great deal of challenger level and a great deal of obviously CDL because we've started so early, which is brilliant. It's great to be able to have this much quality COD this rather than it being January and February, which it has been over the last few years. It's nice to have it a bit earlier so we can absorb as a viewer, but I'm sure players are absolutely fuming. We've already seen some complaints, but yeah, I think with this game, we're seeing a lot of 2-0s, and then you hit that control, and it just flips. Control is so awkward in this game. We've seen it, you know. I can't remember what the control map was. Is it Greenberg? Is the one that seems to be the one of choice? No, it's the El Asilo, is it? El Asilo. Yeah, I think that seems to be the control, and it's just so sloppy as a map. It's, you know, very quick A point that gets taken over. It seems to be almost dismissed, and then you get this very scrappy play, and it seems to turn the game on its head. And the team that was 2-0 up lose so much confidence coming out of that control that they seem to get reverse sweeped all the time. So yeah, very different to Vanguard, which is nice, but I do think that obviously there are factors at play in terms of the movements quite chunky and square, and it just makes it difficult for players to be as free flowing. And then obviously the big problem is that we've got a very big GA list and a very short time to kill. The GA list is already like a roll of toilet paper long, and you've got this insane time to kill. We saw it the other day. Exceed absolutely destroyed a play. Like I've seen it a couple of times in pubs where it felt like an arcade. It felt like an arcade game where you just shot once and it was a headshot multiplayer.
Was it Eric that he shot? I've got a feeling it might have been Eric.
It could have been Boom. Yeah. Well, did they play Poyodron? Did they actually play them?
I think so. Well,
I can't remember myself, but I just know he absolutely bodied.
Maybe it might have been. Maybe Eric retweeted it and said. Maybe Eric retweeted it and said, "Oh, why am I dying this quickly?" or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe I could be getting confused. But just quickly, I just want to quickly shout out Mr. Vossi, Lizy, and Lewis for the subs. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us again. And yeah, in case you haven't noticed, Pablo is here. We've managed to. I'll keep clawing him back in, no matter how many times he wants to try and run away. I will keep dragging him back, regardless of where he is. Even if it's a street cam, like a live FaceTime.
Just in the gym running.
Yeah, on the treadmill doing colour casting.
Climbing. I'll just be there on Sunday, just climbing, just with a little GoPro on my face. I'll do anything.
Yeah, no, but so for anyone who is just joining us, Flower with the sub, one of female COD's finest, by the way, COD royalty. Thank you very much, Flower, for the sub. Hope you're well. Hope to see you in the female tournaments again, Flower, because they are doing them, aren't they? There's a new female tournament organised. I don't know if it's done and run by like Hannah and the same kind of group of girls that did it before or not. We'll have to see. But I hope you're taking part in those, Flower. You need to get on it and earn some dosh and some cash. Because she was doing it in ACCL, frying a lot of the lads. So we'll have to see. But yeah, thank you very much for the resub, Flower. Hope you're well. But yeah, the teams this evening, guys. We've got Vitalize Academy up against Divinity Empire. Vitalize Academy going to consist of Twisted, Aspect, Chunky Boy. That's a great name. And Maestro. And then the boys of Divinity Empire, Lidsey, Liam, Alpi, and Scrapper. So we'll have to see how these guys get on. And I think, give me a second, I will make sure that everyone is pretty much ready to go. So pardon me while I just make sure I have got everything the right way round. But yeah, Pabs, blank canvas pretty much for us for the most part. Obviously, I did a series the other week, and it was more kind of a case of learning, I think, is the safe way.
Yeah. So I'm going to put it out there right now that I haven't done a lot of practice in terms of understanding the actual, more of the very technical details of this game. I jumped into a couple of scrims, I think with Lewis and Wuskins and people like that. I think we covered a couple of games kind of on the QT and just tried to get a feel for it, but it was so early in the game and it was so one-sided that you just couldn't, you know how it goes, when you cast one of those games where it's like 250-0, the games were so one-sided. I think people would just kind of practicing strats and stuff. I just couldn't get any information at all out of it. So guys, if I make some insane calls, apologies in advance. But yeah, I'm completely like fresh. I'm fresher than I don't know, a spring daisy at the minute.
Not a spring chicken, a spring
daisy. Yeah, I've gone for something light and flowery. I think it's because you said flower earlier on.
just got flour on the brain rent free. And a quick shout as well to another Flower again, giving out another sub to Razza. Thank you very much, Flower. What an absolutely beautiful human being. Thank you very much. Big smooches. And a quick shout out to my boy, Mr. Uni D, one of the RAF lads. Before we do get into the COD, I will just shout them out because they are the boys and they won the code bowls. So, holy
incredible.
Shit. Beautiful stuff from them. But yeah, we're in the game. We're ready to go. And the boys of Divinity Empire are already off to a quick start. But as we know, Pablo, P1s tend to be pretty much of a bit of a back and forth. So quite a good amount of time for Divinity so far.
Yeah, they've done a good job of just being able to hold it down. But again, this is a weird map, and it's going to give that little bit of an advantage over to the first team who are going to be closest to just that point. They've made good hay though. That's the most important thing, and more importantly is that big 4-1 coming out of Liam. So able to hold it down, and they've done a great job. We're with 75% of P1. It's a great start. And early doors, Vitalize just looking to be a bit on the back foot, especially Chunk, who's 0-3 major. That's not a good way to start your first map in this XP League.
Yeah, this is a brutal start here for Vitalize. They're very much behind the curve as the boys in red are already ready to go for P2. You can see Aspect here going to try and push his way through the front of the hill, but it's going to be so difficult when they're watching, and Liam at the moment is absolutely frying. 6 in a row for him now. They're going to have to try and slow him down if they're going to want to get anywhere near this hill. We can already see they are going to start to flood their way in towards it. Twisted's going to actually bring a nice 2-piece to come through to finally get Vitalized on the board, and now subsequently they're going to look towards the next hill, but this man, Liam, is chewing through those arrows left, right, and centre. 8 in a row now for him. My God, they need to slow him down, otherwise this game could be over very, very quickly.
I'm telling you, the Vastnev is a dirty, dirty machine, and honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if it gets GA'd at any given point. But nice play from Lidsey, very early push towards P2, so a little bit of a nice thought, a bit of a big brain coming out of him. But again, you can see now those vitalized arrows starting to converge and starting to get, you know, a little bit of time on the kill, but more they just seem to be feeling themselves, dodging bullets a little bit more. But you can see already back and forth, no one really overtaking that kill feed at the minute. Liam has finally been taken off that streak that he was on, but he's going to be able to provide Major some problems a bit later in the game with some of the streaks he's been able to accumulate.
Yeah, so the strong start from Divinity Empire off of the back of slaying ability really of Liam is now going to just deteriorate ever so slightly as Vitalize have held a really good P2 here over towards Kitchen. Liam is going to try and push his way in, but oh my God, when you're winning gunfights like that, there is something that is going in your favour, because he has absolutely fried him there, and Liam still looking strong, but Vitalize are going to still get the lion's share of time on this one. But this man Liam flies around the corner. Maestro, good work from him, a man who I've been told to keep an eye on, so we'll have to see how he gets on in the later stages of this game. But Vitalize do what they need to, Pablo. They earn a big amount of time, and they've got a couple of bodies ready over towards the next hill, though, Divinity Empire, so they've got to be careful not to allow them to run away with it.
Yeah, it does look like a problem for Vitalize at the minute. Is that Twisted and Chunk just are not bringing anything to the timetable. They've obviously got themselves a few kills, but they're largely relying on the capabilities of Maestro to get all that time. What's that meant? It's meant that they're not able to get control of P3. That's allowed Divinity Empire to get in. They finally managed to get a little bit of control, and Major, they've done, you know, what was largely unthinkable at the very start of P1. They brought this back to within 35 seconds, but the Divinity Empire just staying strong, managing to maintain the fight and the kind of those interactions, more importantly. And but it is going to be Vitalized slowly but surely, just clawing it back, and they're slowly getting back into this game.
Yeah, so a huge amount of time that went in favour of Divinity Empire is pretty much all but gone as the players now prepare themselves for the next hill. You can see that number 2 out the back though, Aspect. He's got quite a good angle here on a couple of players. Manages to take down one. Looks for the second onto Alpi, who just about manages to get away by the skin of his teeth. And meanwhile, over towards the other side of the map, Liam again is still just shredding players as he looks towards another one. He isn't going to quite get the third, but his teammates are in the hill. They're set up. Trophies are down, and it's going to be up to Vitalize to try and punch their way in again.
Yeah, Liam's going to have to watch his back, though. You can see number 3 there, and Maestro has just decided to try and take that longer route. You can see him peeking through that kind of parlour area at the back, and that's going to be an important kill. But what is a tricky gun at that kind of range? M4 proves very difficult, but Lighty is going to be there to stop that push, and Divinity will be able to get themselves 20-25 seconds of good quality time in this bar area. So great play by Divinity Empire, and Nakosh is still firmly on Vitalize. And again, we've got to look to the likes of Chunk, who's 4-14, only contributed 3 seconds. This is a player definitely on the struggle bus right now, but Divinity Empire, you know, they're taking full advantage of that, and you can only got to feel that if Scrapper was able to contribute a little bit more, the difference in this score could be even greater.
Yeah, and I just quickly want to shout out Flower again for gifting another 2 subs. Thank you very much, Flower, man. That is absolutely incredible generosity from you. Thank you so much. And there's that level 2 hype train. Holy titty balls. Thank you very, very much, guys, for the support as we're back. But I'll tell you who needs support at the moment. Vitalize, and they need it in the form of kills, definitely, because Twisted at the moment is the only man who is relatively close to going evens at the moment. Aspect's going to grab a couple of kills, and they do now have this Garage Hill locked down a little bit. They will have to be careful of Lighty, though, because he's got a little bit of oversight on towards the point. We'll take that one. Flies out the back, but Aspect just locking down that back part of the hill has absolutely nothing more to do with it, and they're doing a good job of just trying to push up the map here, but Divinity Empire, again, if they keep winning these individual gunfights, they're surely going to work their way into the hill, and it looks as though two players are going to look to try and do that once again. As Chunk grabs one, can he get the second? And much better from Chunk.
Yeah, really did need to get those picks, and a really nice two-piece in the end. He gets himself in a reasonably decent position, and prior to that, he did do an absolutely beautiful nade across. So comms absolutely flawless. Twisted does get taken down 14 and 17. So again, Vitalize not quite slaying out the way you would expect a team of this caliber to do. But again, one thing we did point out at the start was that they win kind of amassing time across the board. Well, you can see now everyone kind of contributing heavily, and that's just brought that back again to within 30 seconds. So as we hit this end of this first rotation, we're going to see a lot closer game. Divinity Empire doing great though, and the one thing that's kept them in this has been Liam's absolute ability to slay. Lady not far behind, but when you just look at the time that Alpi and Lady have got together, that's been part and parcel why they've done so well. And this has been a really, really exciting game, a game that could potentially have gone, you know, very one-sided. Has been an absolute joy to watch.
Yeah, and a lot of trades coming through, but the man who comes out on top on the hill, Lidesy, is now 17 and 12, so he's starting to shift some bodies on the map, and there's another one as Twisted will fall to those shots once again.
Sonic killing spree, let's go!
And play down, and Chunk is still doing well at the moment. As you just flagged that, I was literally about to switch to him before he did finally fall to Scrapper, but now Alpi is able to pick one, and you can already see that Maestro is just going to try and lock down the back side of the site here, and he's just going to try and stay alive, but the nades are going to clear him out, so they are still going to have a lot of bodies out the back here, Divinity, and they're edging their way closer to that 200-point mark. Liam is still going to try and lock down the front of the hill, and he's actually going to get another kill. Trophies down just to try and cover himself, but he's able to get another kill, which he probably shouldn't have been able to. And now Maestro finds himself in. He gets taken down. It's a little bit of tug of war at the moment, but the time is still ticking red.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful play from Lidesy there, and that's largely been able to keep Divinity Empire onto this P1 as we head into this second rotation. It's been a glorious game so far. 143 to 211 is probably about right for the way the game's been played, but you just look at Vitalize's stats now. They're slowly starting to creep to having kind of, you know, nearly on par stats in terms of kills, and they've each started to try and get a little bit of time, which was something they weren't doing in that first rotation. So Divinity Empire want to be careful, and this is where they were pretty clever in the previous rotation, where Lidesy went back, you know, to the very back of the kill and managed to get that. You can already see Major Vitalize Academy want to prioritize this P2 in the second rotation.
Yeah, that's what they're trying to do, but Lidesy's out the back again, and this is what Divinity Empire locked out last time, and it's given them an opportunity for a bit of a pinch. You can see the Scrapper's going to come around from one side, and now they're going to try and converge on these players on the hill, but it is going to be very much a teal-green.
Oh, that's big plays.
Feed as Twisted gets yet another one just to try and stabilize once more, but they're going to have to pretty much do this all the way until the end of this one. Alpi will fall. Scrapper's going to look for some trades nearby around the area, and he will manage to drop one. With 25 seconds left on this time, Vitalize, they're now in a bit of a sticky situation here, Palace, because they've got to guard as much of this hill time as possible, but they've also got to try and win the rotation, but a big one-on-one win over towards the scrap time.
Yeah, Twisted with an absolutely huge kill there. And you can already see the arrows start to congregate, and they could be two massive kills coming out of Lides. He's 25 and 18. He's on his 3 streak, and that could be huge. It's cleared out that first push from Vitalize over towards this P3. And Major, this bar hill is no fun to break. You've got to get into so many positions, and you just got to hope that you're able to get these big kills. But there's so many headies to work with. And this is where good nade knowledge and being able to get rid of any potential trophy systems that go down. And as I say, that Liam drops one there, you can see the nade out, so this is going to be a huge 201 to 232 as we potentially come to the end. That's huge. Big 3-piece from Aspect, Major.
Oh, that is a massive 3-piece. That could potentially be a map-saving one. It looked as though it was becoming a little bit worrying here, but look at those red arrows. They are still trying to punch in one at a time at the moment. They've got to try and just compose themselves just for a split second, because all they need is one good push from Aspect. Now find himself on a 5-6, and oh my god, he got another kill there with the help of Twisted. So he is now starting to be a real thorn in the side, as they won't get much time on that hill, and Divinity Empire find themselves racing again over towards the new rotation, as we just about see a bit of a lead change and the kills going back and forth once more.
Yeah, this is big. Alpi took a big, risk there. He went right the way to the back of the map in order to come round. And Divinity did great on this bar kill in the previous rotation. But you can see those arrows, they're not quite in place. So this is a great opportunity. Aspect is going to try and take advantage of that. But Scrapper and Alpi are going to be there. But Maestro at the front with 2 massive kills with that M4. And it's still they're not able to get on. He's being fought back. Lighty, the hero, one more time. Have they managed to do it? Yes, Divinity Empire take map 1 and on the back of a hell of a performance from Liam and Lidsey.
Oh, bloody hell. That was map 1. And breathe.
Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back into the Passion Pit, Babs. My God, what a map that Modern Warfare 2 has just brought us there. Brilliant plays at the end from Aspect as we see in the kill cam, but it's not going to be enough. And Divinity Empire put one on the board right off the rip. And strong starts, Pablo, pay off. Divinity Empire, they had a lead for a huge amount of that. Was a bit squeaky bum time, but they managed to get it done.
Yeah, I was trying to pass that P3 off to you at some point prior to it ending. I was like, there's too much going on. We've got another kill. It's so close. But yeah, what an exciting round 1 with game 1. To get things started. We were expecting high things from Vitalize. We've got players who played with some high caliber, players in the past. We've got them finishing really high in 2Ks, largely against a team that have, kind of been hit and miss in the past in terms of, getting themselves a quality team together. Well, Divinity Empire from the outset, Liam slayed hard. He was on an 8 streak, 9-1, and then he was able to, you expect a player at that pace to drop off. He did, but he didn't drop off negatively. He managed to keep his skills up, but more importantly, some big kills coming out of Lidsey, some big, hill-saving kills where they allowed Divinity to get back onto the hills. And you look at that P1 rotation lead that they were able to get, that, if they don't get that almost 60 seconds of P1 and the first 30 seconds of P2, this could be a totally different game. But they came and they meant to do business.
Yeah, that was a very, very back and forth, it felt like, map 1. But map 1's done. On to map 2. Same map, different game mode. So we'll have to see how these two fare up in search, because obviously we're going from an absolutely extreme cluster of kills and trades to obviously a much slower game mode in Search and Destroy. And again, because we've not really seen how some of these play out. I mean, I've done a few GBs on Bringberg Hotel, and it definitely feels MW2 is very, very quick for opening engagements on some of these maps. Obviously, Bringberg, you tend to wait a little bit. It's usually an AR that tends to get that first pick watching down the lanes, but there's a couple of maps on this game, Mikado especially, where first bloods are instant. So we'll have to wait and see how that one pans out, because, I mean, normally it is the case that teams do benefit from the first bloods that they get, and if the boys of Divinity Empire come out flying like they did in map 1, they're going to look just as good in map number 2 as well. And
yeah.
Sorry, mate. Siege wants a Siege. Sorry, there you go.
I think with Mikado, you've got to bear in mind that there's this very strong middle lane. It's such a dominant area that you can face off over. So you're probably going to get a lot of encounters, and also some of the areas have got a lot of high ground where it's approached by low ground. So you've got a couple of levels. So a lot of the time, it's quite easy to find yourself a corner and get a pick. But obviously, Greenberg's a weird one. There's a bit more strategy to it. A lot more headies, especially across that B bomb site as well. It's like there's just so many opportunities, and then you've got the bomb site. I think it's B that's over towards the open area, kind of like the left hand side, which is more open, and the other bomb site's over towards the kitchen, isn't it? So your open area's got those headies, a lot more difficult to try and get that first engagement. But I mean, if you have a look at the start of that previous game, it's very M4 heavy. We saw the SMGs were struggling from the outset, a lot of kills coming off the M4s, and it took a bit of time. I expect S&D is going to be very similar. It wouldn't surprise me if we saw an M4, 3M4, 1 Vaznev kind of meta. It wouldn't surprise me at all. It wouldn't surprise me if we saw 4 M4s.
Well, no, with no M4s, mate, because they're all G8'd. It'll just be scars. So
scars. I see. This is why I need to do the cast every now and then. So I think G8 list it's so difficult to stay up with.
Well, there's a quick first blood, and the man that started off quick is going to be the man that gets it again. And now Pete is going to absolutely fly around on towards that player. He will then drop. Chunk able to take it down, so now instantly becomes a 3 versus 3. But this B bomb site is the one the Divinity are going to try to get the bomb down. Look at those Vitalize arrows out the back. I'll tell you what, they're going to have to react quickly here. Liam is going to manage to take Maestro down. The door is now open. Nobody currently having an engagement as of yet. There's the first pick though. Lige's able to take Chunk down, and wow, quick round. Divinity Empire managed to open up with one on the board.
Very, very aggressive. And obviously, if you are going to go over towards that A site, I think I've got the bomb sites mixed the other way around, then you're going to need to try and get control of those two areas fairly early on. Nice play to come out wide and good use of the SCAR, I guess. Insane kind of trying to stay on top of the GAs, but very, very quick map. But very aggressive coming out of Divinity Empire. And I think they've realised that they can't sip on their laurels. They need to get those picks. And who is it major there for them? It's Lidesy and Liam again.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Momentum is the thing, and at the moment it is definitely with Divinity Empire. So round number 2 under the way, and you can see that 3-1 split from the attacking side of Vitalize Academy, and the first blood again comes through instantly. This time it's going to be Twisted though that opens it up, and now it's just going to enable a little bit more movement over towards the site, and Aspect is just going to absolutely gun Liam down. So now a 4 versus 2, and you can actually see Zeddy popped here, and here now comes Chunk with 1. Oh, he's unfortunately got his knife out and gets caught with his trousers down, and Scrapper with a really big couple of kills. And it looks as though Maestro might just toy with the idea of planting this bomb, but big work there from Scrapper, and he's now got an opportunity to sweep another round away from Vitalize.
Oh, 1v1. These guys are going to pass each other. I hope. Can't tell whether Daddy's been picked. Are they going to hit each other? You can see that player number 3 out towards the back. Nice placement. And it's going to be a big, big kill. I'm so glad that he said when his trousers down, it was only his knife that he had out. But it's going to be 2-0 to Divinity Empire. And Scrapper, nice placement. I think he realised someone was up top with the big boots and gets a kill again. So, yeah, nice play. Divinity Empire, major, looking very, very strong. Are we about to start Vanguard all over again and just start eating all our words?
Yeah, I think this is literally what's going to happen. We just need to stop predicting things, I think, at this point.
Yes,
it's
absolutely.
Just a bit stupid. I'll go with what I think is a logical argument to say as to why I think someone will win, and then we get it completely wrong. So we just shut up and watch the COD, I think, at this stage. But yeah. But one thing, especially in this game, Pabs, is dead silence is enormous in this game in comparison. Obviously, the amount of noise, it's like people running around with lead boots on like hollow timber floors everywhere you go on this game. So kind of those opportunities to pop Deddy as and when you can literally flip a map on its head if you're not careful.
Yeah, I think the big key at the minute, and something that you pointed out earlier on, not just the importance of dead silence, but the first bloods in this map are almost vital, and Divinity have been absolutely awesome at just getting that pick. I don't know whether Vitalize have got a couple of players who maybe not been playing a lot of GBs or a lot of scrims, but they're just taking up odd positions and getting punished for it. And you can see already that transition across, so Aspect's got a big job on his hands, but you can see the aggression nature coming out to Scrap, and he gets punished for it. Maestro actually gets off the board. He was 0-2 at that point, so that's going to be big. Vitalize make it 3 versus 3 with 29 seconds. This is going to be a very, very hectic end.
So 2 versus 3, 23 seconds on the clock here. They're going to have to try and go quickly here. Shots in the back. Oh, he doesn't get the kill. Oh, Maestro gets the kill. So now 1 versus 1. Chunk versus Alpete. He's only got 14 seconds left though. And Chunk's got to try and at least stick this one, go for the kill. And he gets the kill onto Alpete, and he gets the defuse as well. Nice work from Chunk there, and Vitalize find themselves on the board finally.
Chunky Boy goes big, and he carries that momentum on because he has been playing reasonably well for them in this S&D. It's just been unfortunate that they've been on the back foot largely. He brings it back to a 1-round deficit. Divinity finally get dealt with, and great play, and that's going to give the boys in that cyan blue a bit of a confidence boost, and they're going to be able to potentially come out of this and look to try and tie things up. It has been very difficult for them, and the advantages that the boys from Divinity have taken have been big. We've seen them go strong with Lidesy and Liam, so big opportunity now for Vitalize maybe to pick things up a little bit of a confidence boost. Major for a couple of kills from Maestro in that round as well, who was on a donut prior to this round.
Yeah, so 2-1 now the score. Vitalize back on the offense. They've gone for a bit of a split here, and Chunk is going to work his way straight in towards Dyna. You can see here number 4 Liam isn't too far away. He has popped Deddy. The Deddy's gone, and I'll tell you what, his body's gone as well. Him and his teammates in Chunk, they have got absolutely battered across their respective elements. And now, Maestro, with a big pick, will now make it 2 versus 3. But now they've got that difficult problem of trying to get this bomb down. The second that Twisted tries to stick this, good work from Maestro, just watching over the top of him. And now the question is, when do they try and plant this bomb, Pabs? Because Alpete is not going to want to try and let them do that.
I don't think they can do it. They need to retransition and try and either force these players into a back, get a pick, or potentially just look to try and come around. You can see number 7 already thinking about it, so nice play. Potentially number 6 here is going to be Maestro. Might be able to get 2 picks. Can he read this around the back? Are you going to check your corners, Maestro? Are you indeed a Maestro, or are you a miner? He is going to get destroyed back to the drawing board for Maestro there. It is going to be a 1v2, and that transition has already happened. Bomb is down, and it's going to be 35 seconds. Big job for Twisted Major, 1 and 3. Can he do it?
The timing out the back here. Twisted's been seen. They know he's here. They're going to push him as a duo, and that's exactly what they do. To perfection. Divinity Empire looking good. Once again, the teamwork from Alpi and Liam really shining through there. Able to pick off one man over towards that A site, and they do exactly the same thing over towards the B site, and they get the defuse to go with it. So they did the difficult part in getting that bomb down, Pabs, but maybe potentially surprising that both Vitalize Academy players weren't tied to each other. They were obviously going for a bit of a split there to see if they could maybe get a couple of players out in rotation there, and unfortunately it just came back to bite them a little bit.
Just think the comms maybe not there, because if you're going over to that B-bomb site and you've got your opportunity to plant and you've not seen another player, you've got to think that they've at least transitioned around the back. So if you're Maestro, your options are sit tight and wait for a player to push out the back and get those easy kills, or transition over towards the kind of open garden end of the map and just sit and wait for any players trying transition to the back of kitchen. But again, just no comms, and I mean, a little bit of, you know, poor choices in terms of how they've taken that. You can see the aggression out of Liam as the kill feed goes entirely to, almost feels like it's been a 2v4 at times. Liam and Lighty just teaming up. You can't say that with Alpi on a 5 and Scrapper on a 3, but this has been a dominating performance so far. Maestro on his own in a 1v3.
Yeah, Divinity just seemed to have such good info of hitting lanes with timings. Oh, Maestro's going to try and get away with that one. He's not going to be able to. But no, what I was going to say was Divinity Empire, they had no hesitation in just pushing in towards that kind of center portion of the map by L and by Couches. They absolutely flew at them there, and they kind of caught two of the Vitalize players with their trousers down, unfortunately, for those boys, as they dropped 2 lives instantly. And obviously, when you're dropping 1 or 2 players right off the rip, it makes that job just a little bit harder. And at the moment, they are looking like they're going to be on the receiving end of a bit of a battering once again here in Map 2, Pabs. They need to pull their finger out.
Honestly, at this rate, I think Vitalize just need to take the pants off and run around in the boxies, because they've been embarrassed wholeheartedly. Twisted on a 1 and 5, and you know, despite the fact that Maestro and Chunk have got those kills, they've done them on the back end of maps. They've done it when, you know, they were already on the back foot, and one of them's managed to get a 2-piece. So right now, looking at very, very good, and across the board, you can just see how strong Divinity have been, and just the confidence pouring out of this team. You can see these jump shots. They're quite happy to drop shot as well. And again, Liam with a beautiful shot through the smoke. He's going to get rid of Chunk. It is going to be tied up though. Twisted with a big kill. Scrapper is going to get the trade though, Major. It is going to be again Divinity Empire with the advantage, 3 versus 2. Right. All the work for Maestro to do, mate.
Let's see how the back are broken here. Aspect's going to have a gunfight, and he is able to win that though. So that's a big win there for Vitalize in this round. Now makes it a 2 versus 2, because if he didn't win that one, Aspect would have been in a very, very difficult situation. They do have the bomb. And see the duo on Vitalize just toying with the idea of trying to get it down to A, and Divinity Empire as well, just playing it as a duo. They're not going to split up here, but the opportunity to plant the bomb, has it potentially gone here? Scrapper's not going to spot him on the bomb, so bomb will go down, and now they're going to try and reposition a little bit here. You can see that Aspect has managed to work his way in towards top bedroom, and now this is where the boys turn the Turtle Beach is cranked right up here, just to try and hear anything, because I don't know. Maestro has Dead Eat. Do Lidesy or Scrapper? No, so neither of them have Deddy as well, Pabs, and with 28 seconds left, they've got to go quickly, and unfortunately, they're going to be stomping around like a good one.
Yeah, this is going to be very difficult for them to be able to get this diffused, and you can see the peak from Maestro is potentially going to come. He nearly gets a 2-piece. He manages to drop Scrapper, and that might let the alarm bells ring, and it's going to be a pretty easy kill in the end as he manages to get Liam off the bomb. It is going to be a round scraped back for the boys of Vitalize, bring it back to a 2-round deficit. Nice play by Maestro in the end, but again, this is, you know, you can see the advantage of getting the bomb down in that more awkward position and then just taking that position in the hallway up. But, you know, it comes down to your transition. You know, you've got to look to Divinity Empire, go around the back and maybe, you know, come over the top towards bedroom and try and take that position. I don't know. It's a tricky one, but at the end of the day, Vitalize did a great job nonetheless.
So, round number 7 underway. And Vitalize do give themselves just a little bit of a lifeline in this one. Some big kills coming through from those boys. You can see the spread again. On both respective sides, you have got Aspect in towards middle. Just watching. See if anyone is going to overextend, and a bit of a change of pace in this one, Pablo. Obviously, Divinity Empire, they've not been afraid to get involved in the action quickly, but in this one, just taking their time a little bit, just mixing it up.
Yeah, they're just trying to draw, I think, a kill out. I think they understand how important the first blood is. They've relied on it, those rounds that they have won have largely come off the back of very aggressive first blood. So I think Vitalize realised not to try and lose a life early in the round. You can see they get the shots out, Twisted very close to getting that kill, and you can see just how difficult it can be with the time to kill being so short. We do see a little bit of ordnance going out towards the back of kitchen. That's a big kill for Aspect. Vitalize mate is just starting to look very good in the latter stages of this S&D, and they're just getting those picks. Can they take advantage of two big players fall for Divinity?
Yeah, they are very much trapped at the moment here, Divinity. As soon as this bomb goes down, Liam's going to try and help keep his man alive, but unfortunately, Scrappy's got the bomb down, but is he going to get away with his life? He's just trying to run away, but he's got to try and stay alive here. But at the same time, are they going to try and stick this bomb? He's popped dead, so he's going to try and go for the flank, but nice work there from Maestro. Just sniffs out the potential wrap. And that's exactly what happens. They get the kill, and Vitalize, there you go. He gets a cheeky little kiss on the side from his mate for that as well.
It surprises me. I know he's popped Eddie, but when you're going into that kind of like that's like L stairway, I'm kind of thinking, why is his gun not up? He must expect someone to be in that doorway. I just think, sometimes you can react without thinking. I just thought once he's popped the Eddie, he's got himself a little bit of time. Just try and take an extra second, because you've got 3 people to kill. Don't just throw yourself in. But at the end of the day, it's great play by Vitalize. They waited so long to get that first blood, and they've managed to make, the important thing is that they win the round off the back of it. It's a good confidence booster. More importantly, it's good for strategy. The sniper is out though.
Oh my. Whoop, there you go. Maestro's head goes into the next round. Nice shot there from Alpi. First blood again goes through for Divinity. The number 5 chunk has popped Eddie. He's going to go top bedroom, but Lidesy again just makes the reads, and Alpi snaps and slaps Twisted straight in the face there with another sniper rifle bullet, and Aspect finds himself all alone and feeling very much blue, or sign, whichever way you look at it. But Divinity Empire, big round on the board again, now puts them 1 away from taking map 2 and going 2-0 up here, Pabs.
Mate, you've got to talk about, we've had this conversation over the years that we've casted and played Call of Duty, that sometimes a plan B is as simple as changing your strategy and having a sniper. Don't use it for the first few rounds, bring it out. It gives you that ability to have your distance while being able to get information and potentially suppress any attacks, and that's exactly what happened. That first sniper kill just completely changed the approach from Vitalize. They had to try and get to top bedroom, they had to try and get into a different position, and that just left them vulnerable, and Lidesy and Alpi were able to take advantage. Great play from Divinity, and a great change in strategy.
Yeah, we spoke about speed. Ooh, Maestro, is he going to catch that nade? Oh, he is. He's going to tank it, though, as he is going to dip away. And we spoke about the changing in pace here, and Divinity have gone straight back to kind of what they seem to be know works for them. Trophies down. Bomb is now going to go down as well. So Vitalize, they're going to have to work a retake here. Otherwise, this map has gone from them. And the next pick is going to be so important. Chunks over towards the top side of Garage, but Lidesy gets the first blood. And it looks as though number 8 Aspect is going to have to try and make the play in the back here. Is Lidesy going to make the read that he's here? No, he's not. So surely a kill comes on. Maestro gets 1 as well. But now 2 versus 2. The clock is ticking. 25 seconds on the clock here for someone on Vitalize to try and make a play. We can see here, though, that they're going to try and wrap through the top of beds here. And with nobody on the bomb, this is looking very, very bleak. They've got to try and at least stick the bomb here. They've still got an opportunity, surely, to maybe do it. No, and I think that has now gone as Maestro is all alone. And with 7 seconds left, I think map 2 is done. And it is.
Yeah. Beautiful play, one absolutely beautiful piece of S&D. They get control of the bomb site really early on, despite having players watching over the bomb. They get the bomb down and they take up some glorious positions. There is a little bit of it back and forth as we see it go 2v2, but great play in the end. And that little bit of time taken by Alpi, I believe, in the end is Scrappy, apologies, just to sit top bed. He waited outside the door till the last possible time he needed to, goes in, gets a stun, gets round, gets the kill. Great plays from Divinity. Major, we are being made to eat our words wholeheartedly in this game, mate. But we predicted, off camera, I'm gonna have to swallow it and say we were looking at a totally different scoreline. Well, Divinity have just made us eat our words.
Well, there you go. 2-0 up, find themselves now. Divinity, I will just show you guys the score confirmation there. as Greenberg is very much in favour of the boys in red at the moment. 250 to 237 was map 1. If you did miss it and you do want to watch a good game of Hardpoint, feel free to go back and watch that one because it got very exciting towards the end of it. The Search and Destroy, though, a little bit more confident and a little bit more comfortable for Divinity Empire. 6-3. They managed to take that one. And unfortunately for Vitalize, Pabs, although it's a switch-up in game mode, it's not a switch-up in map. It's going to be another Greenberg Hotel where, at the moment, it must be said, Divinity have their number.
Listen, we can't complain. At least we've got a thorough grasp of the different strategies in Greenberg Hotel. You know, if they're going to do this, try and do it for each map. But yeah, it's really nice to get a good view. This is one map I haven't actually seen at all is Greenberg Control. So I've seen, you know, obviously the CDL guys playing Control on El Asilo. I've played it a couple of times myself in just regular kind of play in the CDL kind of mosh pit. But this is the first time that I've actually been able to cast over it. So it's going to be interesting to see just how different it is in comparison to El Asilo, which is basically very one-sided. You know, it all comes down to that kind of open kind of car park area where you've got all these trailers and this ability to kind of fight across the control. So it all comes down to that center room kind of that center building control and being able to, you know, if you've got players in there, you're usually going to be able to either defend or attack effectively. So Greenberg's going to be interesting. I'm so absolutely new to this. This is going to be an eye-opener for me.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, at this point, we just got to sit back. We just got to sit back and watch the COD and enjoy it, because at the moment, to be fair, I'm just glad to be back on COD, let's be real. Obviously, we can make our predictions, but with new engines and new games, it can always be slightly difficult. Obviously, we've seen across the board players transitioning from Cold War to Vanguard. We've seen the emergence of a couple of players that were okay in Cold War, but were very good in Vanguard, and the other way around almost. So there's obviously a different kettle of fish here with a different engine going back to the MW engine. So we'll have to see how this one pans out. But at the moment, Divinity Empire definitely in the driving seat. And I mean, if the boys of Vitalize do want to give us a game 5, I'll love them forever, because you know what we're like for game 5s. But I think it's just something
we know it's coming.
Yeah, I think at the moment you've just got to give it to Divinity Empire. They just seem to be the team that is a little bit more organised when it comes to, they know what they're doing. I think a couple of times we've seen the Divinity Empire lads hit a lane, hit a strat, or even a rotation, and they always seem to be just that one step ahead of Vitalize at the moment. And obviously when they're not winning gunfights, it can be difficult when you're falling behind in hard points, if you're not winning gunfights and you're not winning rotations, to get scores on the doors. And that's exactly what we saw in map number 1. And if map number 3 is going to be like what we've seen so far, and Divinity Empire do have a bit more of an understanding of kind of what they're doing on the map, then you would worry for Vitalize Academy. But saying that, from the whispers that we've heard, I'm still expecting Vitalize somewhere to pull something out of something. Don't get your dirty minds out for that one. That sounded very bad. But I'm expecting to see something good from these boys. I'll say that much.
Well, I mean, you've mentioned pants off about 4 times in the first game, so I don't know what you'd expect. I don't know what you'd expect them from Vitalize, but it would certainly include bare legs at some point. But honestly, I think Divinity, one of the things I think they've done really well, and it's something that you see in good sides, is it's great having a good strategy and then being able to employ it, but employing it with confidence is so important. You know, whether they've sat in scrims and practiced timings and made sure that they can get to that bomb site in S&D well before the player can get, you know, bottom bedroom or top bedroom or whatever. You know, that they employed that with confidence. They made sure they got control of it. They got the bomb down as soon as they pushed that player back, and they kept control of that bomb site. And it's that kind of employing your strategy with that level of aggression and confidence is going to do well. I think they've come out of the hard point and just thought these are there for the taking. But we know one thing, we've seen it time and time again now already, early days in this iteration of Modern Warfare, is that the game can change on its head at this point. Control just seems to flip this game completely, and regardless of the fact that we've got a hard point then an S&D, it just, you know, wouldn't surprise me if we get to a 3-2 situation, and it wouldn't surprise me again if Divinity just go and stomp. So where we end up, you know, it's great. It's, you know, Vanguard last year was kind of an oddball. We would, you know, obviously we had a weird meta at the start of it with, you know, 3 hard points and all the other issues that we had. We haven't quite got this. They've just forced it through regardless of whether there's issues or not. But this is infinitely better than Vanguard in terms of just, you know, at least having a solid set of game modes to play this early on.
Well, the COD gods have chosen Twisted as the first man. Let's see if we can get Twisted in map number 3 here as we get underway once again in the hotel, which we've been to every single map so far. So Let's see what these boys have got in offering. It looks as though it's going to be a bit of a heavy B push, and that's a lot better from Vitalize. 3 dead. Scrapper's going to be the last man up, but he will reply with 2 actual quite big kills. And the boys of Vitalize looks as though they're just going to try and push their way up the map a little bit, but they've still got to get rid of Scrapper in this position, and they haven't done that. So all of that map pressure might potentially not really come to much as they finally sniff him out. And the boys of Divinity Empire, they are going to now get on that A point.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's very, very straightforward for the team who are going to be spawning over towards that back kitchen area to just get control of A-Bar. And they've done a great job of it so far. The progress is still on. 24 lives, plays 24. And you can already see big play coming out of Scrapper with that 2-piece, making his stats look very nice indeed. That's a big shot from Liam, not able to finish the kill off. He has got enough sense to just check behind him. Big moment for Chunko. He does need to get this kill. Liam is going to bring him down, though, and point A is secured. Don't know where I'm going with Div there. Point A secured. That just leaves point B, and it's going to be a big job now for Vitalize just to get that defense in.
Divinity Empire, again, flying forwards. Nice work though from Aspect though. This is what they're going to have to keep doing, Vitalize, is when these players of Divinity start popping off, they're going to have to at least find a trade onto 1 or 2 of them. Oh my god!
Oh
Alpi, SMG and AR beams, doesn't matter what he's using if it's got a trigger and some bullets. He's getting kills with it, so nice work there from him. And the boys of Vitalize Academy do actually manage to find themselves a wave of kills, so although
number 4.
Alpi managed to find himself a big couple of kills, it's not going to be big enough. And now the B point, probably the harder of the 2 to capture, Pablo, obviously with it being right out in the open. And now Divinity just going to have to try and regroup and work something here. And it looks as though Scrapper's going to maybe be trying to make a little bit of a long flank here because they are a little bit pinned back.
Yeah, it's going to be a look at that. They're going to spawn out at the back. Is that going to catch the boys of Vitalize by surprise? I don't think they're quite ready for it. They're still kind of looking in and around middle. You've got this lovely split, though. Number 2 in Scrapper is going to be causing them some problems from behind, and there's going to be a big fight going towards the front. This is where Scrapper needs to pull in and try and get himself some picks. It's a nice bit of hiding going on from the boys from Vitalize who are all penned up under the bed. So this is going to be huge. Nice kill from Liam. Nice kill from Scrapper. Maestro is going to respond, though, and that is going to be 3 dead in that area. Make it 4, and that is going to be control of the A point going to Divinity. Sorry, the B point. Question is, can they keep that control, Major?
Scrapper's watching mid-map as well. The progress is coming through. They're going to have to try and get a pick off of one of these players because the first tick is now done. And Liam and Alpi, they're just on the point, and there's some nice shots from Lighty to take down 1. Trophies on the point means it's going to be a little bit harder for them to try and break in here, but you can see that Aspect over towards top bedroom, I believe. He's going to manage to get that man off the hill, and he's going to spot Lighty, who just dives for his life, but it's not going to be enough. Vitalize with 4 lives to the good as well, and with only 20 seconds left on the clock here for Divinity Empire, you do worry that this is going to have to be the time for them to move. Alpi is going to try and be that game changer in the back. He's able to get 1 kill. Where's his next one going to come from? Twisted over towards that corner side of desks. It's going to be difficult to move as he is just going to have a little bit of a crack gamer moment. He shoots onto his own teammate, but now no more respawns. Can they get on the point? I don't think it's going to be possible. Liam won't be able to touch it, and Vitalize, they dig their feet in Pablo and they hold on.
Yeah, that was going to be really difficult. It was a nice bit of control from Divinity to manage to push through. They saw that split push between Scrapper and his 3 teammates as they kind of pincer moved in, but it was a nice bit of play from Vitalize, who held fast in lower bed and then were able to get a re-control of B and made it very difficult in the end. From what was a point where you felt Divinity had complete control of the map, it was a really nice fight back from Vitalize, starting to dig in, and you know, it just shows they aren't willing to give up. And Major, are we starting to see that flip in the game that we've seen in so many other performances in the challenges in the CDL, where you start to see this change from control? 1-0 Vitalized is the first time I think they've been ahead in the game for the whole series.
Yeah, so with the boys like Maestro and Twisted and Aspect, to be fair, all providing a lot more kills than deaths. Oh, Maestro, big win in top bedroom as well. He's going to push out that lead even just a little bit further in terms of kills. Currently sat at 10 and 4. They're going to want to see plenty more of that. And it looks as though the boys have Vitalized. They're going to do a completely different operation here. They're going to try and get this B point done a little bit sooner. They've got to try and be careful of Alpi, who is going to try and command over towards middle map. Scrapper, though, is able to get a pick, but they are still getting the progress through. The first tick is done. The second is pending. Aspect with a big pick on the hill as these Red Arrows, they're trying to get in towards it, Pablo, but they are having none of it.
Oh, Maestro with the 2-piece. 13 and 4 on a 4 streak. 6 in total for Vitalize. This is a completely different team that we've seen come out of S&D at Hardpoint, where they were, you know, essentially dominated for the large part of both games. Well, they've come into control with a completely different aspect. And you said that you wanted to see them get twisted. Well, they have indeed. Aspect on 11-4, Twisted 10-8. This team have turned up, and you only feel if Chunk gets involved, this could be absolutely brutal.
Oh, Aspect, I was literally about to say on a 5. He is going to drop, though. And Liam has managed to push himself up towards Kitchen, so they're going to have to try and get him out of this spot, because he is potentially going to be a little bit awkward for those players coming off of respawn. You can see they are going to start spawning over towards back garage, and Liam is going to push his way up towards Kitchen. Again, you can see Aspect is going all the way around the back of Broken. There's this next engagement going to Liar. Scrapper's going to back up. There's going to be 2 players here for him. Is he going to get another one? Oh, Maestro. He's just going to wait for him just a little bit. And meanwhile, out the back, Alpi, though, just locking that one down, making sure Aspect doesn't do to them what he did last time. There's another kill potentially in towards this mid door, and it's going to go in favour of Maestro on that occasion, but they're still just waiting for that green light to push the point tabs. And the boys of Divinity Empire, they aren't giving up too easily, but that kill feed has now gone very much in favour of Vitalize.
Yeah, 17 plays 12 with a solid 5 life difference. This has been an incredible performance. You know, you just got to look. Maestro just turned up. He's got a 10 life differential. And in a complete juxtaposition, we've got poor old Liam on 6 and 10. We've got Alpi on 8 and 10. This has been a very difficult control game for the boys from Divinity. And it's been, you know, an impressive performance. Of course, as soon as I say that, Lidsey drops Aspect. But yeah, this is going to be vital. And 8 lives plays 14. This is going to be very, very difficult for the boys of Divinity. They've got to flood in. They've got to try and get these picks so quick, and you've just seen how difficult it is to break this bar area down. Oh, Alpi with a 1-piece, with a 2-piece. Can he get the 3rd? No, he cannot, but only 4 lives remain.
Oh, and tell you what, didn't even matter. Vitalize just stacked the point and manages to get it done. Brilliant work there from him.
On a totally unrelated note, Major, gotta tell you, give you some news. Felix just knocked Wardy, just beat Wardy. Just got to get it in there.
I don't know if anyone clipped it from a while ago. I don't think anyone did. But I did say, right, keep an eye on Mr. F. Dot. And,
yeah, we've been talking about him for time.
He's making a little bit of moves in the old challenger scene. That's all I'll say. I'll just leave him to it. That's what I said to him. I said him in DM. I said, no, I'll just let you do your thing. We'll see where you go. And, yeah. And another player who's the little Withbeth around coming on is currently sat at 18 and 6, apologies. So Maestro is having a hell of a map 3 here, and his boys very much have him to thank for the momentum alongside Aspect, because it is all very much Vitalize Academy, it must be said.
Yeah, absolutely. They've been very impressive in this control. A completely different kettle of fish. The shots have been on point, but more than anything else, they've done it as a team. Some of the things that were missing from the S&D, some of the communication that just appeared to be lacking in how they moved. But this time they're very aggressive, and you can see already. We saw how quickly Divinity were able to get control of this A point, and it feels like almost the Vitalize are quite happy to have a fight over towards B. This is going to be huge now. Lidsey needs to get this pick, and I think Divinity need to get one on the board. Otherwise, this is going to be very difficult going into the next hard point, where the maps are completely different, and that could be what Vitalize are hoping for. Get into this control, and let's take it and mix it up with a couple of different maps in Fortress, and then hopefully get to that game 5.
Yeah, and they're going to do exactly what they did the last time they were attacking here, Divinity. They're going to try and just get this A point done first, and then they'll try and make the hard work in the later stages of this round. Only a 1 life differential for now. Maestro's going to pop Denny. Oh, whoa! My God, the hip fire. Was it a hip fire or an ADS? You couldn't even tell. The bullet went straight down the center.
He came off ADS to hip fire. Oh, my days, Major. What have we just seen?
Jesus. I mean, he might as well have been ADS, and every bullet went straight down the throat of that poor Divinity Empire player. But really good work again from Maestro, who now finds himself almost quadruple positive. And he's getting there as he gets another pick here. At the moment, he is just roaming for kills, and he is getting pretty much 99% of them, it feels like, at the moment. He knows there's potentially some more players over towards bedroom. But now, is he going to try and push around the corner here? He is. He's going to come across Lidsey, and there's another one for Maestro, who again now finds himself on a 5 street. You can see that Predator missile is now ready to be used as and when he needs it. And obviously, with this site being outside, it's going to be incredibly difficult, Pablo, because now they've got that in the arsenal to be able to be used. It's going to be so hard to get on the point, because the second they do it, you know he's calling that one down.
Yeah, absolutely. Just rain hell all over them, and I wouldn't blame him. It's been an absolutely monumental performance coming both out of Maestro and out of Aspect as well, who's had some important 2 and 3 pieces in this game so far. And it's going to be, about pressure now. Can the boys from Divinity Empire maintain the kind of aggression and pressure that they applied to Vitalize in the previous 2 games? Can they do it? Well, they're trying, but Alfie gets taken down. Chunk with a really important kill. That would have been absolute problems for the boys of Vitalize if that push isn't dealt with. And you can already see Chunk be an absolute monster over towards top bed. He hasn't exactly lit the world on fire with his kills, but you can see that 3-piece very, very important to be able to deal with that push. And now there just seems to be this huge push to bottom bed. Major, can they make it count?
Oh, they might go all in the blender here. Aspect is just staring down a few of them. There's 1, there's 2. Twisted actually gets a couple of them himself. And with 7 seconds left, even the trophy's getting the gunny. It's an absolutely beautiful round once again for Vitalize Academy. And Aspect still going for more, farming them left, right, and center. And that is how you form a potential reverse sweep, or how you start it anyways. 3-0 from Vitalize Academy. They have arrived.
Wow, that was insane kind of play. What a completely different team to the one we saw in Hardpoint and S&D. Dominated early doors. Hardpoint, they just didn't ever seem to be in the game in S&D. Well, that's a 3-0 control right there, and you just have to look to Maestro. 24-9. And only 6 non-traded kills, but that is control at its finest. And Vitalize put one on the board and look very, very scary in the process. And Major, we're going to get to see some new maps.
Finally, I got sick of that hotel. The room service was rubbish.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, there you go. Map number 3 goes blue. I will just quickly, frantically try and update that map score. But yeah, the kills, Pablo, those were the ones that seemed to make the difference for the boys in blue. They finally got themselves on the board, and with Aspect and Maestro putting together the goods. Divinity Empire, they struggled. Let's be real. They really struggled in that one, which was surprising after map 1 and 2 because they looked very good.
I think Control is one of them game modes where it requires a different mindset, and it requires a lot more practice. S&D obviously is the big one for strategy, and they did really well on that. But again, you've been playing S&D for so long, it kind of is in the blood to an extent. Hardpoint again is, if you've got a Slayer, if you're very aggressive, you can, and you get those big points early doors, you can do well. Control though, you saw from Vitalize, they almost seemed happy to give Divinity the A zone, let them take it, and then just battle over the B zone. But when it came to their attacking round, they just went straight to B. There was no fuss, no messing around. They went straight to B, took complete control, got that more difficult zone, and then they just left, spawning onto A. So really smart play from Vitalize. Going into Fortress and Embassy, this is where it's going to be really interesting. This Fortress plays so much like Bocage. It's so fast. It's got so many ways to get in and out of these buildings. It's going to be very interesting to see how the 2 or 3 big slaying players that we've seen so far, which has been Liam and Lidsey, and been Maestro and Aspect, I would guess. Maybe Twisted can contribute a bit how they are going to deal with each other in this. So yeah, this is going to be so exciting to see. If Vitalize take this is going to make Embassy insane.
Yeah, and with the banning of the M4 now, it definitely means these SMG players can find themselves in a lot more favourable positions to win gunfights with the sub. Obviously, when it comes to the original meta M4, it was very much a case of even the SMGs, it didn't matter if you were up close, the M4 would fry you. Whereas it does feel, I mean, the AR players might hate me for this, but having this Scar meta instead of the M4 just balances that kind of that slow pacing and that roll. Obviously, the fire rate of the Scar just a little bit slower, good across distance, but up close and personal, you do expect the SMGs to be winning this one. So I think you are starting to see a little bit more fluid gameplay and a lot more of a potential 2-2 split, because when it was the M4 meta, it was 3 M4s and 1 poor sod who had to run a sub. Whereas now it feels as though you've kind of got that balance of the two ARs, 2 SMGs, and we'll have to see on this map whether that's going to be the case on Albagra, because I've got a feeling the subs now are going to be a lot more impactful on some of these maps, being able to have a bit more influence in gunfights that aren't literally right up against your face.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to entirely come down to that kind of breach sub, the player that can get onto the hill or potentially transition to the hill and try and get that early first kill, or, when you're, trying to retake the hill, that breach sub who can do a lot of damage straight in. And again, it's going to come down to that support role as well. So when you do get recontrol of the hill and your second sub goes in, your AR's got to be there to back them up. So this is also about some good quality, kind of intelligent play coming out of the team who are going to be able to do that. What's interesting is that Divinity already proved that they've got some strategy, they've got some game. They proved it in the S&D, and they proved it in the first hard point. They were so aggressive, but now we're starting to see a little bit more of the Vitalize roster that we expected to see. We're starting to see Maestro put big numbers up. We're starting to see Aspect do so much better. This is going to be so interesting. For me, though, this game, this hard point is about Chunky Boy. Can Chunky Boy bring something to that Vitalize roster? He didn't have a great control compared to the other players. He's been hit and miss in the other 2 games, but he looks like a very capable SMG player, so very interested to see how Chunky does in this game.
Yeah, if he's bringing anything to the table, and he is indeed a chunky boy, he might be an apple pie. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll have to see.
Let's not talk about food. Come on, man. I'm
sorry, I forgot. I can't do that now. It's carrot sticks and hummus now, isn't it, for
us?
Hummus,
yeah, absolutely.
That's it. So, map 4 now underweight, and P1, as we come to expect, going to be a bit of a leathering of frags and stuns, and Maestro, the man who had such a good map in the previous one, as you mentioned, Pablo, can he be the man to make another mark in this one? We can already see, though, the flood of Divinity, Empire, arrows getting ready for P2 already. It's a strong P1 start, and Vitalize Academy now find themselves potentially on a little bit of a back foot race, Pabs, because they're not ready for the rotation just yet, and they've obviously not got a huge amount of time on P1 either, but you can see now that Chunk, the man out the back here, might have a big one-on-one against Lidesy in that new hill over towards Guillotine.
Yeah, this is all about checking your corners, which Chunky just does not do. I don't think you can be as courageous as he was at such a late stage in P1. I think there was like a handful of seconds, and he's just like, there can't be anyone on P2. But we've already seen how much emphasis the Divinity put onto the P2 rotation. We saw it in the Greenberg Hotel, and they're already proving it. And this plays, I feel like this is going to play into Divinity's hands. It's a very fast-paced match. Was that off the top rope? Did he just jump over the steps, turn and kill him? Insane plays, Major. Where can we even keep up?
I think he might have stabbed him with a bit of plastic cutlery because it didn't do anything, unfortunately. I think it might have been Alpi that just turned around and put lead. That's why you don't bring a knife to a gunfight. He just turns around and absolutely batters him, but the wall bangs there. Nice work from Aspect. Not going to be able to do it, but look at the rotations again, Pabs. They really need to try and get Lidesy out of this spot. Big kill. And I'll tell you what, this P3 on this map, on El Bagra, this is a money hill, if anything. So they need to get a huge chunk of time here and get set up, and that's exactly what they're doing, as Aspect is just mopping up some more players over towards the middle map.
That is probably the most obvious, just turn and burn, kind of leave P2 and get set up for P3. I've seen in a while. Nice big pick from Alpi. Very important, because that stops that potential trouble across mid-map they were going to face. There's going to be a big kill from Maestro. That is a beautiful 2-piece to control. Just that mid-section push, and that has been a really, really nice hold. Oh. If they're able to deal with number 6 there, who is Scrapper, then that is a full, absolute push. But again, it comes down to Twisted. He's going to have to deal with this push over towards Stables.
He's got trophies for days at the moment. Twisted. Oh, he's not going to be able to keep his head down long enough, though. But now, is this going to be an opportunity for them to try and push their way in towards the hill? They have at least stopped the players getting the time, but the kill feed lights up in favour of Vitalize once again. An Aspect, that man on your screen just now, has been able to get another pick. 10 and 4 from Aspect. He had an incredible map 3. He's starting to bring the boys back through hook or crook on this one, but Scrapper just absolutely beams him with the sub. The tack, unfortunately, not the preferred weapon in that one, and he does lose it.
Yeah, really nice play, though, from Vitalize. They brought this back to 20 seconds. Really good hold on P3, but this big P4 is going to be insane. It's going to be one of the most close quarter kills that we've seen in a Call of Duty in a long time. And it's so difficult to orientate yourself. And really nice play outside from Liam as he gets a 2-piece, supported by Lidesy, and that's going to hold Vitalize just a little bit further back. Aspect, the only player in and around the hill right now, and that's just going to afford Divinity a little bit more time again. Really nice play from Aspect as he dips, plays his life, gets the kill and causes problems, Major. And this is still going to be Divinity's to get, but you can see those arrows, Major, just starting to flood back in.
Yeah, I was going to say, he was just being a pain out the back, Aspect, and he just stopped them from getting on their hill, but he does subsequently fall at the end of all of that. But now, again, that kill feed has been read for quite a significant amount of time. We can see the combined 7 streak there between all 4 players has now dropped, finally, courtesy of some bullets provided from Twisted. But Alpi's looking to get a couple more kills as they now get set up towards the next hill. And now, how will Vitalize try and set up on this one? There are going to be some important trades over towards middle map. They don't have control of that top middle building, though, so it's going to be difficult for them. And now, the gunfights, again, bit of a 50-50 in the opening stages, but more importantly, perhaps they've got the man on the hill. They just need to try and keep Twisted alive.
Yeah, this is a very difficult one. Obviously, you've got this huge push out the front, but you've got to maintain your kind of presence over towards mid, because you can see already the boys from Divinity trying to allocate a little bit of play over towards that back stables area, and you can see number 7 there, Liam, is going to push through and just try and get a little bit of at least information, if anything, a little bit of pressure potentially towards the back. Number 1 in Chunk is already trying to make his way through, but this has been again a nice hold, and Major, they brought it back to within 20 for one more time.
Yeah, this has been good from both teams, to be fair. They've rotated early when they've realised they can't get the time, and both teams have managed to get big chunks on those hills that they've rotated on. So now we get ready over towards P5. Well, back over towards P1. And now boys are going to try and get set up once again, but Twisted has got a big gunfight here. There's the first one to at least take that man in Liam away from the point, and now where are they going to try and position themselves? They're going to be spawning over towards those double doors, over towards Guillotine, but they need to just try and potentially identify it, but Scrapper and Alpi both get kills. It's going to be another one! Oh, he's no right to win that gunfight, and Scrapper wins another one. He's looking for Maestro on the point as well. It's a little bit of a back and forth, but Scrapper comes out on top, and this is important time, and more importantly, he's stayed alive as well.
Well, he's on the 3 streak, and that was incredible play. His teammates able to now just start to flood onto the hill with a solid 27 seconds. That's going to potentially give them a little bit of a lead, but those cyan arrows are going to be making their way across. You can see number 1 in Chunk is just going to get tagged up there. Scrapper again with another big kill, and that's been an important period of play for the young man. 20 and 13, presently the kill leader in the game. And we did say for Vitalize at the start of the match, it came down to how Chunk did. He hasn't had the most impressive games so far. He's 8 and 16, double negative. He has tried to give himself a little bit of time, but right now Chunk is the player for Vitalize that needs to start to pick things up.
Maestro's watching this outer lane. Oh, he's got a couple of gunfights alongside him, but his teammate here is going to try and help him. But Chunk, unfortunately, just runs out and turns the wrong way. And that is not what you want to see if you're a Vitalize fan, because they had the rotation. Everyone was ready. And Divinity Empire just punched their way in. They win every single individual gunfight. And now they have control on another one of these potential money hills. It's a difficult one to break into. A Scrapper is now demonstrating as he gets 3. Liam gets the 4th. And the time is really starting to run away with Divinity now. This is worrying. If you're Vitalize Academy, you need to try and regain here. This is a huge one-on-one potentially, or there is going to be a team spawn up on him as well. Liam finds himself alone. Big chunk of time, but more importantly, Pabs, this rotation is now going to be huge.
Yeah, that kill as well. Scrapper has gone absolutely off in the last 30 seconds, 40 seconds of this game. He has dominated proceedings, and now he's given Divinity with that kill over towards that top staircase. He's given them the opportunity now to hold fast, and they've got themselves set up. More importantly, they've got number 8 and Lidesy watching that mid push. He does decide to choose the wrong time to go out, and that's going to give Chunk a kill, maybe a little bit of confidence as well. And number 7 there, Liam, in an absolutely awful spot to be in. Is he going to watch top, though? He does change. He gets the kill, and the kill feed, Major, is entirely Divinity. Pray to God, Vitalize, because you are getting bodied.
Oh, man, this is such a hard hill to break. It's such a hard hill to break, and when you've got players like Scrapper, who is just constantly looking for a pinch on these players trying to get in towards the hill, you just find yourself getting shot in the back repeatedly. Chunk is going to get one before he finally falls, but his struggles will still continue as they now find themselves in a 50-point deficit again. They find some important kills, but number 5 Alpi's not going to let them try and get as much time as they can on this one, and he is going to win the gunfight. And now the rotation again. Maestro's going to be here out the back, arguably the man that you probably want to be on it at the moment, because he is winning those important gunfights. He manages to win another one out the back, and Vitalize, they will breathe a sigh of relief because they are now ready on this hill. But from what we've seen, Pabs, this hill can get very, very scrappy and very messy.
I think Divinity are going to be absolutely fuming because the Vitalize put so much effort over to P3 that they spawned the guys from Divinity on P4, but they obviously had to get themselves set up and just weren't able to get their picks, and Vitalize do absolute work. Lidesy and Liam trying to team up to just try and get Vitalize Divinity into the hill, but again, this is a very, very difficult one to try and get your hands on. Big kill there, Alpi with the nade, but this could be back and forth, and right now with a 35-second deficit, this is still all Divinities to do, but this is nice play from Vitalize and a good hold so far.
Yeah, these next kills are big. Scrapper with 1. He's been so good at hitting roots. They're going to try and get the man off the hill now, and they do manage to do that. But now Maestro going to try and get some trades along here, and potentially a couple of seconds of time. He is going to drop right onto the head of Scrapper, and he manages to get the kill. Is he going to... Whoa! That was close. I thought he was going to absolutely violate Alpi there, but he's not. They hold on, but more importantly, again, this next hill right out in the open, this is going to be the tricky one, Pabs. This P5 is the one that is going to be so hard for those players to stay alive on the hill. Vitalize gets some important picks. They've got Twisted on the point now, but now can they just keep him alive once again?
This is for Divinity, this is about mixing up the momentum, just trying to be as difficult as possible. Scrapper trying to use one of his streaks to try and get a kill out and not able to take anyone down. It is going to be Vitalize, who had a really good hold on this previous hill in the previous rotation, so this could go entirely their way. They're not going to quite be able to win it off this hill, so Divinity are going to need to try and at least mix things up a little bit to give themselves an opportunity on the next hill. But Maestro is going to be holding firm towards the back, but no one on the kill so far. Maestro reads that, not able to get the kill, and Alpi just going to cause them some problems. Major, that could be huge.
And they're ready for P1 as well, just a little bit here, but they do have Liam just slipping through the net potentially here over towards the bottom side of P5. He is now going to push him towards bottom maps, and he gets that first pick. Scrapper gets one, but Aspect nades him out, and Aspect is now alive on the hill. They've got to try and shift him, but the reload, oh, he's not going to catch him out. He gets the kill onto Scrapper as well, and now he's just going to do his best, Saving Private Ryan style, to just keep his head down from the absolute bombardment. And Twisted's helping him out here. They're getting closer to winning this, and Twisted gets 3 in all of the madness. It's going in their favor right towards the end of this one. It's been an absolutely manic hard point, but Vitalize Academy, they will not let go of this map, and this series is desperately crying out for a Game 5, and Vitalize, they are on the precipice of providing it. Can they get it? Yes, they can. Game 5, here we go. Thank you very much, boys.
Incredible game. Vitalize hanging on by the skin of their teeth in a 250 to 213 behemoth of a game. Unreal play from Scrapper partway through the game to bring this game alive with a, I don't know, you could say like a 10 or 11 streak that was separated by one death.
Look at Maestro.
Unreal performance from Scrapper. Unreal performance from Maestro. 22 non-traded from Maestro. 27 non-traded for Scrapper, who went crazy. But it comes down to the Maestro in the end with the Scar just holding firm, holding that bottom hill, and just absolutely dominating on P1 on that third rotation. Major, what a game. And you said it at the start, we're watching so many Game 5s, and we're first game on together, babe. We've got a Game
mate,
5.
You can't leave now because I'm getting Game 5s, so you're going to have to stay with me forever. I do apologise, but wow. What a map. Holy, the hard points have been good between these two, and now we find ourselves with our beloved Game 5. Oh, we do love COD, don't we? And the Passion Pit is well and truly back here in this XP League Division 1 Group B game. And wow, what a performance from both of these guys and both of these teams. But the boys of Vitalize, they just seem to have found that little extra gear, Pabs, in terms of having these big moments and multi-kills. It was definitely an exciting map. Vitalize found themselves behind in the early stages, but that time, to be fair to them, a lot more structured on these important rotations, and they managed to pull it back, and they soared in that last portion, especially that P5 at the end, which is not easy to keep players alive. They got a huge chunk of time in that second rotation.
I think what it came down to a little bit was that Divinity are really good when it comes to getting onto the hill initially, rotating early, you know, getting that one gunfight, getting themselves a solid 30 to 40 seconds on the hill. But, you know, when they're not in that position, they find it so difficult to retake the hill. And Vitalize would that was their game plan. They could take the hill, you know, take that first break, get themselves set up, and they were really difficult to take off. And that's something Divinity might need to look back, go back to the drawing board, have a look at your retake strategies. You know, you struggled in that second rotation, and that's where Vitalize came to life. And largely Scrapper, you know, really made the team look a lot better than they were playing because he was getting so many important kills. If Scrapper doesn't go off like that, that game ends, you know, 30 seconds earlier than it did, or 40 seconds earlier it did, because Vitalize will absolutely dominate large portions of that middle section. So really nice play in the end from Vitalize, but Divinity probably need to go back to the drawing board just on their retakes. But we're left in an S&D on Embassy. It's got a lot of hate, this map, and a bit in particular the S&D on it. But it's going to be very interesting to see how these teams fare on it. Do they play it a lot? S&D on Embassy, I'm going to guess, is probably the least favorite map and mode to play at the minute. So going to be interesting just to see what the strategies are that they decide to employ.
Yeah, well, this is one of those maps where, again, those first engagements can be very, very quick. Over towards that car park area, if you don't have a trophy, it is so difficult to stay alive in that area of the map. We've seen a lot of teams running snipers down towards that side, trying to get the first blood. And if you miss the sniper shot and the Semtex lands right next to the truck next by you, I mean, you're gone. There's nothing you can do about it. So there's a lot of opportunities for early first bloods on this map, even over towards kind of that tennis court area of the side of the map. It's very, very open again, and it's difficult sometimes, especially for the subbies, to get and push up the map. We tend to see a lot of players, when they do hit it quickly, they go straight in towards that bottom orange up towards top AC because they've got nowhere else to go. It's a case of, if you're going in the car park area, you've got an AR probably staring down the lane. If you go towards tennis courts, you've got an AR staring down the lane. And even if you try and hit mid, again, you've got that balcony, you've got bridge. It's so hard to stay alive on this map in the early stages of it. So I'm going to be really interested to see how these guys set up. Will everyone be running Dead Silence, or will we see a couple of trophies to at least open up some of those lanes of the maps so they don't get naded and spammed all the time?
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be an eye-opener for me. It's something I haven't really seen a great deal of. So, again, I'm in that weird position where it's going to be interesting to see how the teams play it out. You've got a little bit more experience. So, yeah, absolutely going to roll with your insight on that one. But it's been an absolute blast. I mean, it's one of the criticisms we've seen, which we didn't get from Vanguard, was players really didn't necessarily overly enjoy Vanguard, but the viewers loved it. A great game to watch. Yep. But this has been a little bit hit and miss. It's been a very difficult one to watch. I think the time to kill make game feel a little arcadey. I'll be honest, this game's been great to watch so far. It's been absolutely wild. We've seen, almost each player have like a golden moment where they pulled off something interesting or played really well. Even Chunk managed to get himself a solid 3-piece and 3-streak during the control. So we've seen, the potential for each player to play quite well in this. It's been interesting to see Vitalize, though. We know how Charlie likes to have a really solid EU Academy roster. He likes to have, a little bit of talent coming through, and it looks like he's managed to pick it up. Divinity and no slouches, and Lighty and Liam leading the charge for that side. Yeah,
so we are now loading in towards Game 5, baby. First one of the MW2 season for us boys. And who's going to be the player of choice? It's going to be Scrapper. There you go. They do love a potential MVP to the COD gods. And he has definitely been a man who has provided a hell of a lot of big moments here. And now, what will Vitalize decide to try and do right off the rip? You can already see that Liam is edging his way down this right-hand side. But look at Vitalize. They're pretty much ready for any opportunity for an overextension or pinch here. So a very, very slow opening round here. And I just realised...
5 arrows?
Yeah, I just realised Heisenberg decided to play. Don't know who that is, if it was a bot or if it was a player. Still, he's a bot. But either way, back to us. We'll play that one again. I was very confused. I was sat there, I was like... Am I always going mad? I thought I was seeing double. I thought I was like, I need to blink or something. I've got something in the eye because I'm seeing quite a few arrows. But
that's one way to win the game again.
yeah. So I think a bot might have potentially been added in that one. As Heisenberg has unfortunately ruined Game 5. So we'll have to reignite our hype for Game 5 after that one as we restart that map.
Well, we don't need to reinvigorate too much. It has been an absolutely glorious game so far. Vitalize having to come back from 2-0 down in what were reasonably dominant performances from Divinity. 250 to 237 doesn't really tell the tale of the tape. In the first hard point, there was an almost 90-second lead at the start of that hard point, and it really did help Divinity over the line at the end. Greenberg, a very dominant performance. In fact, 3 of those rounds you would suggest how Divinity kind of beat themselves to an extent, but then we started to see the worm turn. Vitalize go huge in control, and one of the most dominant control performances you're ever likely to see. They didn't put a foot wrong. It seemed like a different team to the one we'd seen in the previous 2 maps. And then Albaga, very Bocage, like just so frantic, just so much pace. Players having big moments, going deep with 6-7 streaks. Scrapper went huge. We seen great kills from Aspect, and in the end it was Maestro who put the boys in Divinity to the sword with a win. We are going to try and get this off, but again, I gotta say, Major, this comes down to Chunky Boy for me. He had a very slow game at hardpoint. He started off really poorly, managed to get himself a few kills, started to play a very passive role with the SMG, started to take up areas in hardpoint where you would normally consider kind of an SND pace, where he would just wait for players to come around the corner, get a couple of picks, move. So interesting to see how he approaches this S&D. And again, I could think it could be, the big thing for Vitalize. If they can get all players firing on all cylinders, I think they'll do well. We've already seen, Major, just how aggressive though Divinity are. Scrapper right through middle building, right the way through, just tries to get that shot across court. So interesting. We are back in though, and this is going to be the deciding game in this XP league.
Yeah, no Heisenberg, 8 players, just the way we like it
Let's
in a game 5. So
go.
we'll see what this one has got in store. And the boys of Vitalize already going to look to try and potentially push their way over towards B. And Alpi is going to be the man that is rocking the sniper here. So he might have a lot of responsibility on his shoulders. But Lindsay gets the first blood over towards this left-hand side. He's looking for another one onto Aspect, who's going to catch a bullet straight to the face. And he is going to have to just back down. So the first blood goes in favour of Divinity Empire. And this is what we saw in map 2, Pabs. We saw the boys of Divinity very, very consistently picking up first bloods, and they managed to take that map. So the boys of Vitalize are going to have to maybe try and turn the tide a little bit in comparison to that map.
Yeah, this transition is going to be very difficult. You can already see the position number 8 there, and Liam is taken up, waiting for those players potentially to push around the back. He's going to have a think himself. The support is going to be there, though. Mr. Alpi with the sniper, he decides to pull away at the wrong time, and whether that's going to be important, as he's going to see that player. I know he's got a glimpse of him. We can see that is going to be a nade that goes out or a stun that goes out. But again, the Ordnance and Major Vitalize just don't know what to do.
Yeah, they're really struggling at the moment. They're pinned back quite heavily. As you mentioned, Liam is going to be watching over the cross. More importantly, this man here, Alpi, when this door opens, he might have a few to aim at. There's the first, and Chunk goes by in towards the next round. He doesn't drop the bomb, though, because Aspect's the man holding it, and he does manage to get a really big pick, actually, Aspect, to at least open this one up. His teammate in Twisted is desperately trying to run away over towards that kitchen area to get away, but they're not going to get the bomb down. They're going to have to just try and play kills. So now all Scrapper's got to do is stay alive. That's exactly what he does. And although they kind of flared up towards the end of the round, Pabs, unfortunately, it was just a little bit of too little too late.
Yeah, just no real control from Vitalize at all. They just didn't seem to know what to do once they weren't able to get that first blood, and in fact got first blooded. It completely changed how they played when they tried to transition around the back of spawn and head their way towards that A bomb site. It was too late by then. Alpi had site control with the sniper, and he had support from Liam. So in the end, just a very difficult game for them. Interesting now to see how Divinity take this, because I feel like they're a very prepared side, and you can see already the aggression coming out of this side.
Oh, peekaboo. Chunk, big kill. Looking for the second. Lighty, though. Consistent as always. Grabbing the trade. And it now sees the standoff.
Oh my god, Scrapper with a beautiful kill.
Oh, we got another one. I thought he was going to maybe get a third as well. Whoa. He's now going to edge his way up towards this A site. Maestro, oh, but this is the problem. There's car bombs absolutely everywhere. Maestro, though, has now used that nade. He can't use any more. And Twisted is going to get a pick on towards Alpi over towards that B site. So they are going to now retrieve the bomb Divinity. And it looks as though they're going to try and kind of spring on the opportunity that they've got themselves over towards this A site as they look to try and maybe get this bomb down. Lighty's got to be careful, though. He's weak.
Yeah, he peeked and just ran across at the right time, but this is going to be really important. And again, Scrapper with a very big kill, big jump shot as he manages to get the pick over towards Maestro. So big opportunity now, 2v1. It is going to be difficult for Twisted. I just feel Scrapper is on a different plane at the minute, but yeah, Twisted with a very important job to do. He does manage to get around the back, so question is he just going to defuse? Is anyone going to check, Major?
Lighty, please check bomb. Lighty, okay. It got close. It got close, but maybe his little COD senses were just tingling just a little bit there. It was a very bold stick of the bomb. If he did it a split second earlier, he would have got away with that, because there was a little bit of hesitation there from Twisted, but Lighty checking it just in the nick of time. And his boys take yet another round to push this lead out just that little bit more.
Yeah, absolute work from the boys. And again, their aggression, they seem to have strategy straight from the off. They got that middle control, and we saw a really nice jump shot. We didn't see the jump shot, but we can see it on the map. A jump shot from Scrapper really start even things up, but also managed to give them that little bit of mid control that they needed to then push on to the bomb site. So big moment right now, the aggression straight out from this. And the thing is this going to cost them? Liam's got one. The second player falls in Scrapper, and that's a 2v3, making it 2v2 though. Nice play from Twisted.
Twisted gets one. Chunk can't win that gunfight though. So now Twisted needs an ace here to keep his team alive in this round. You can see Alpi and Liam, they are quite separated here, so there is an opportunity for a pick, but never mind, doesn't even get a chance to fire a bullet. Divinity Empire, courtesy of those opening quick picks and those subsequent kills at the end of the round, now see themselves 3 rounds clear, and they just seem to be a little bit more quick out the gates at the moment here in Game 5, which is surprising, perhaps, considering how Map 3 and Map 4 went. You would expect the boys of the Divinity Empire to almost be fighting that uphill struggle, but it doesn't seem to be the case.
Not at all. I don't think S&D is Maestro's favourite game, 0-3. I don't think he's keen on the kind of cat and mouse kind of play that it requires. I think he likes to post up with that AR and just try and get kills. And again, we look to Chunk, who's potentially, could be a game changer with the SMG, but I just think he's struggling throughout. So right now, Vitalize on the back foot. The S&D seems to suit Divinity in their back to this 3-0. And we saw this in the previous game. They were 4-1 in the first S&D. So this suits them immensely. And right now, they're putting Vitalize to the sword.
Yeah. Oh, there's the car bomb. Oh. There it is. Anyone who stands over that side of the map, if you don't have a trophy down, you are literally playing with fire. And unfortunately, Chunk has been on the receiving end of an explosive firebomb in that one. So it now means the Divinity Empire are probably going to try and get this bomb down over towards this B site. Liam has been waiting a long time over here, and he is now going to get some reinforcement in the form of Scrapper. And now with 45 seconds left on the clock, Vitalize have got to go. They've got to go quickly.
Yeah, you can see number 6 there is just making his way through the building. It is going to be Liam just coming around the back, just trying to make sure that there is support. That's quite a wide stance from Twisted. He's quite far out towards side court, so just trying to see if he can get any sight over towards a kind of lower orange area. This is so difficult. Aspect up top, and beautiful bit of penetration there coming out of Aspect. Manages to get the shot onto Liam, brings it back to a 2v3 with 13 seconds remaining. This is going to be very tight.
Oh, it's a big win. Maestro's got to stick the bomb. He's got to stick the bomb. You've got to get on it. And unfortunately, the health comes through. Oh, he gets the kill, so they are going to get the defuse just about. Aspect keeps his teammate alive with a slither of HP. And I'll tell you what, that could be a map saving kill that kept him. I'll tell you what, if they don't win that round, it's probably chalked, but that was so close. I thought with the health regen he was going to get that kill here. Up top here is Lidesy, but no. Aspect with the Baznev puts 3 bullets in his dome and keeps his boy alive.
Honestly, that could be an absolute game changer right there. But you know when he's peeking, you're thinking, just don't peek again. Just take the kill. Just pre-fire the player and make your way out. And he has to line it up. He takes too long to get the shots off. And it's going to be a massive kill there for I believe it was Twisted in the end, who manages to support Maestro. So huge plays right there. Maestro 0-3, but he gets the defuse. And that's going to be absolutely massive. A 2-round deficit, looking a lot healthier than a 3-0. Divinity still with the advantage. And you can see again, much, the preference is definitely on this defense, where Vitalize just seem to struggle in terms of their capabilities. And Liam very aggressive, just going to put the pressure on towards Chunk, over towards the back. And Major, this is going to be a huge round for the boys in blue.
Oh, Twisted gets the first blood though. That's going to help them just a little bit. Where do they decide to try and take this bomb? Alpi, this time with the SCAR, or the TAC, apologies, and this one is going to be headed out towards this A site, but he's got to try and keep these players at bay. Aspect going to force him to back up there with a couple of bullets, and now this is the opportunity that they need to try and get this bomb down. The hard part is going to try now occur. Twisted going to stick the bomb. There isn't anyone from Divinity. Lidesy and Alpi aren't near the bomb site just yet. So now 40 seconds left on the clock. They've got to go quickly. Alpi falls now, and Lidesy all alone in the 1 versus 3.
Yeah, this is going to be a tricky one for them. A great opportunity for Vitalize to bring this back to 1-round deficit. Lidesy does only have the trophy system, so no, and he is going to bust out and get absolutely bodied by that player over towards the corner of wall. And it's going to be 3-2 Major. And you talked about a game-saving moment. Well, they brought it back to 1 round, and Vitalize started to look a little bit better. We've seen how kind of poor they were on that first attacking round. Well, things have changed wholeheartedly, and they're starting to take advantage now. And that first blood that they got, very, very important.
Yep. Well, Vitalize forming a little bit of a comeback now. Maestro's still waiting for his first kill, but Twisted has got him by the scruff of the neck, and he's dragging him through the embers just for now. And you do worry if he starts to heat up a little bit here. Divinity Empire might struggle, but this now quick push over towards B. It looks as though this is going to be the call. We'll see that Twisted is going to be forced to back up, and his teammate Maestro is going to get stunned. The bomb is now going down. This is going to be a very quick plant, but look at Aspect. He's popped the Deddy. He's coming around the back, and he manages to make the play. Gets the first pick. Maestro gets one as well. And they are falling apart, and they are falling apart quickly in this round. Lidesy now finds himself all alone. He goes down, and wow, what a round from Vitalize, and we are now back to a tied game 3-3.
It is 3-all, and that indeed was a game-changer moment when you look back on that defuse from Maestro and the life-saver moment that came out of Twisted. They brought it back to parity, but more importantly, the momentum is so much with Vitalize and Major. What an upset this would be. It's been such a strong performance from Divinity, but this absolute sweep is right on. The brush is out, and they are so close to turning this game around. But the momentum is all important, and we talked about those big players, Aspect and Twisted going huge. They absolutely dragging Chunk and Maestro through this game. It's been, you know, they needed a player or two to at least step up, and it's been those two players. Great play.
Now, Liam, has he got the info that those players have crossed over? You can see Lidesy this time is actually going to get the first pick. And now look at Maestro go. He's popped the deadie. He's going up top, and he's going to have Lidesy for free. There's one for him. There's two for him. And Maestro has now arrived. Better late than never, buddy. That's exactly what they're going to want from him. He knows there's another man in towards this top orange side. Scrapper, he's going to put a couple of bullets into him. The damage might potentially already be done, but keep an eye on Liam as well. Chunk peeks this. Surely he gets the whoa, off the top rope. You can see that man like Superman in Aspect straight out of the top window. Now leaves Scrapper, last man alive. Needs to go through two more players. Gets the first, but you can see that number 2 Maestro has just got a little bit of an inkling that he's still down this back alley side. He's going to potentially work his way into orange. That's what he's going to do. But now Maestro's ready and waiting, and there's another kill for him. And Vitalize Academy, 4 rounds to the good. Look very good indeed. Now lead by 1, and Divinity Empire just falling behind now. Need to try and make a regain.
Well, Maestro gets the baton out and orchestrates an absolutely awesome piece of Call of Duty there. That was a player who was on 1 or 2 kills in the previous round, is now rocking 5. He absolutely dominated this round and brings it to 4-3. They've got a 1-round advantage, and they are 2 off the reverse sweep. Incredible plays from Vitalize. Maestro wakes up, but more importantly, Chunk starts to get involved with the game. A player that we know, if he gets, you know, a couple of kills, manages to contribute. It's a completely different team. And they already confidence brimming right now, Major. They are so far pushed up. This is the kind of aggression we were seeing out of Divinity early doors. Aspect plays his life beautifully, backs up and remains in control of that A bomb site.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, there's a few Vitalized players that are playing with fire. And look at number 8, Liam is lurking. Did he hear him? Maestro heard him, and Maestro gets out as well. So good work from him once again. He was on 0-4 at one point. He's now 6-4. And the tide has now turned courtesy of some important kills that he is now managing to get. Oh, a bullet there in towards Alpi. He is just going to back him up for the time being. Nades and stuns out in towards that top embassy building. Isn't going to get any hit markers, though. They might potentially try and make the play here. And Lindsay with that Turtle Beach cranked right up. He knows that there's at least one player to the side of him now. But meanwhile, his teammate with the bomb, Pablo, has only got 28 seconds left to work with this. So Divinity, they're going to have to try and pick a site, and they're going to have to pick it soon.
Yeah, it's very reminiscent to this round 1 where we saw, round 3 maybe, where we saw Vitalize really struggling. That's going to be a big pick from Maestro. The aggression coming out. Did he get sight on that player just pushing through? It doesn't matter. The comms are there. Twisted gets the kill. It's going to be Lidesy on his own in a 1v3. 8 seconds remain. Vitalize 1 away from the reverse sweep, Major.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is why I bring you along for casts, mate. You're just a gem for Game 5 sometimes. And it's just going to be another one that now has us at the edge of our seats as Vitalize find themselves at the edge of taking this game and this series. So what will the setup be now? What will the comms be like in the camp of Divinity Empire, Pabs? Because it's starting to fall apart, and now they can't drop any more rounds. Otherwise, this is probably going to be something on the Bluebird for a little bit of a cheeky reverse sweep.
Yeah, absolutely. You can imagine the banter's going to be straight out. It was such a big change as well. Those first 2 maps were just all Divinity. Well, you couldn't have written a completely different story for the next 3 maps. Scrapper he's got to step up like he did in the hard points. Can he do it? No, he cannot. Chunk is going to be there with the kill. The player hasn't played great this game, but he's just done enough in this S&D to cause problems. Alpi with the strong aggression though is going to come around the back. He's not seen Alpi though. You can't see him. Oh, the shots go out at the wrong time. It is going to be a 2v2 though, Major, with 37 seconds. Bomb is not down.
Yeah. So Oh no, bomb is down.
Oh, it is down.
Yeah, Twisted gets a kill as well, and now it all rests on Lidesy. He's been so consistent all series long, but it's going to be such a difficult gunfight for him to win over towards Courts, and he's only got 20 seconds left to work with here. The bomb is planted for Vitalize. They are ready to go here. He needs to take the chow. Twisted is just going to manage to tease him just ever so slightly. Maestro's going to put a bullet in, but they are just, all they're doing is keeping him off the bomb. This is composure at its finest, and that is game, set, and match. Vitalize Academy. Map 1 and Map 2 looked bad. Map 3, Map 4, Map 5, they looked very good themselves, and rightly so. 6-3 and 3-2 in the series.
Yeah, man, that was that's a what? Is that a 6-round bounce back? They were 3-0 down, and they just went 6 on the bounce. That is an incredible performance. That is what you call playing with your food. That was unbelievable. Twisted goes 11-5. Incredible plays coming out of those plays for Vitalize, and we did say that if Maestro was able to get into the game, if Chunk was able to get into the game, that they might be able to turn this around. Well, what a turnaround it is indeed. Divinity back to the drawing board for Control. They did look great on both hard points. The one they won at the first Greenberg Hotel, but there's time to go and spread the wings and play a few more maps. But Major, what a first game for us to get under the belt.
Well, there you go. GG's indeed in the chat. You do love to see it. What a hell of a series that was to come back to here in the XP League of the European in Division 1. Group B, bring in the passion and bring in some very, very close maps. It must be said, the hard points especially. Commiserations there to Divinity. They made an incredibly good series. It takes 2 great teams to make a great series, and that's exactly what we have just been blessed with. So map 1 and 2 going in favour of Divinity, but Vitalize Academy come through with the reverse sweep, and the highlights just on your screen, guys. If you did miss absolutely any of them, a brilliant set of maps here across the board. But the young boys, the young phenoms, Pablo, who we've been told to maybe keep an eye on, they managed to compose themselves, which is not necessarily the easiest thing to do. And they come through with the all-important dub. Doesn't matter how you get it done, as long as you get it done, I suppose.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, the only thing that matters is that W on the scoreboard. No one's going to remember the details in a few months' time, but they will remember where you finished at the end of it. And determination and consistency are the key. So, you know, you fight to the bitter end. You never give up, and you just make sure that you play to the very last second. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself on the receiving end of a few L's. Divinity Empire can be proud of how they played. They go back to the drawing board for Control, and I would suggest as well, retakes on hardpoint are going to be a thing that they're going to need to look at. Just find that they struggled when it came to Vitalize, you know, in terms of those initial holds, but Vitalize can be reasonably proud of their performance. And again, they maybe just need to look at some hard points. Again, they just a little slow off the blocks, and they whether they were able to warm up or not, but a great performance from both teams, and Vitalize come out on top, and you would suggest maybe deservedly so.
Yep, absolutely brilliant there from the boys. And say, commiserations there to Divinity. I don't really have much worries for those boys, because they've put up a very, very good fight there. And obviously these Division 1 games you would expect to be very explosive, very close, and quite a few game 5s. So on another date, potentially could have gone in their favour, but Vitalize Academy are going to be the team that comes out on top. But thank you very much, guys, for everyone who has tuned in. That is going to be mine and Pabs' only game this evening in the XP League. Hopefully we can grab a couple more going forwards in the future. But GG said to both teams, and a big shout out to everyone in the chat who has come through and shown the love. It's beautiful to see all of you glorious people in the chat, as per usual, showing the hype. And a big shout out as well to Flower once again for dropping all those subs. Thank you very much, Flower. Uni D, my boy Thomas, thank you very much. Lewis Matthews, and my nemesis in the switcheroos, and Lidesy as well, who had a very, very good game, and Mr. Vossi. So yeah, the boys of Divinity and Lidesy, I don't have many worries for them. They looked very good in that one. But yeah, thank you very much, absolutely, guys. And hopefully I can get this little bearded man to come with me for the ride for a few more in the future. Obviously with schedule and stuff provided. Hopefully we can bring a few more to you. But yeah, that is going to be it from myself and Pabs this evening, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in, and hopefully we will see you down the road for some more MW2 actions. So thank you very much, guys, and we will see you beautiful people in the next one.